Welcome back! Hooray! Confetti. So, I guess now we're doing the Roarmulus Twins? Yes. They're the other Tier 2 boss, besides the Jelly King. Yes, you're there. Built to destroy. And the enemy types here are constructs and gremlins. Constructs, the boss itself is a construct, so it's very important to have elemental damage, but throughout the dungeon, it leans very heavily gremlin-y. I suppose there's also jellies, so you should definitely want to bring some shadow damage. You're going to want to have, if you only have 2 slots available, I'd say shadow and elemental weapons, and you'll be set to deal increased damage against all the enemies. So that is what we're going to do. It's also very helpful to have a gun of any kind. There's like a ton of switch puzzles in this area. Thinking about like the different boss dungeons, like the Snarpalax is kind of maze-like. Like there's a lot of like thorns and stuff on the ground you have to go around and avoid, and there's a good number of traps, but not that many. And the Jelly King is mostly just big battle arenas. And then the Roarmulus Twins is like a lot of traps and puzzles. A lot of floor traps and switch puzzles and stuff like that. And then Vanaduke is just difficult, I suppose. It's got a bit of everything. It's also longer. Like the Snarpalax had 2 levels, and then the boss in this place. And then the Jelly King was the same, 2 levels and the boss, and this place is the same. And then Vanaduke is, I believe, 4 levels and then the boss, so significantly longer. Okay, so these rockets, the gray ones, you just hit them twice to break through them, and the red ones, if you hit them once, they'll start flashing, and then they explode. So you need to be careful of that. You cannot dash, you can't dash through those rockets to avoid damage. There's a bunch of these little switches on the ground that have a picture of a rocket on them. Once you hit them, they turn off the rockets. So if you can have one teammate run forward and hit the button, that'd be really good. Or you can all just go at the same time. As long as, I mean, if there's one person that's really bad at dodging rockets, you can have them wait in the back, if necessary. So these are both construct enemies, so I'll just be using elemental damage. I've just got my Voltage and Divine Avenger again. The Obsidian Carbine is like a variation of one of the Antigua weapons, but it's a special one from an event. It deals shadow damage and also has a chance to poison. Alright, so this part, you get chased by rockets. Like, it's just shooting rockets at you constantly from behind. You have to beat your way through a ton of these. And there's a good mixture of like gray and red, so you have to be careful not to blow yourself up. Now, which is sometimes hard to do because there's so much going on. So this is where the switch puzzles start. These little things, if they're purple, then the purple gate's up. If they're orange, then the orange gate's up. But if you don't have a gun, you'd have to pick up this pot and throw it at the thing. But you're going to have to do that a lot throughout this area, so it'll take you, like, not just this area, but this whole boss arena. So if you don't have your own gun, or somebody in a group with a gun, then this place is just going to take you a long time to get through. And this is how all the Antigua guns work. They shoot really quickly, and they have 6 shots, and then you reload. There's no ammo for guns in this game, there's just reload animations. I think the, like, in-game reason for that is like your suit absorbs energy from the atmosphere, or something like that, and then you use that energy. And that's why you can use like charge attacks and guns. But who needs that? The real reason is it's a video game, and having bullets, like, if you want to be an archer in a video game, but you also need arrows, then like straight off the bat you're handicapped compared to people with swords. And they already made swords really overpowered in this game, so if you also had to have ammo, well then just nobody would ever use anything other than swords. basically nobody uses bombs anyways because they're just very underappreciated. And if you want to have a decent setup that allows you to both do well with your bombs and also not get killed horribly, then you have to have a lot of money, because bombs are like one of the most expensive things to get into. Because if you don't have enough money to afford unique variants, then you have to use armor that has like really bad resistances to everything. So if you get hit, then you're just dead. Or like if you get caught on fire, then you're also dead. But if you can afford charge time reduction on your bombs, then you don't really need any armor, like any specific armor set. You can just get armor that defends you better. But like one tier 5 bomb with charge time reduction very high, which is the best, is like 17 on average, probably 17, anywhere from about 17,000 to I think 35,000 crystal energy, which is obnoxious. It's like 35,000 is like 3.5 million crowns, which would probably take at least 3 months of grinding. Like if you just grind Vanaduke all the time, it'd probably be about 3.5 months with like 8 hours a day style of grinding to be able to afford one of those bombs. And if you want like 5 or 6 bombs to round out your arsenal, you may even want more than that. It's gonna be a while. So that's why nobody really uses bombs. But if you know someone who's that filthy rich and does have bombs, like I had a friend named Torpor Havo, just called him Havo. He had like charge time reduction of every bomb. I don't know how he got the money. He got lucky a few times, and like his brother quit the game and just gave him 80,000 crystal energy one time, which he used to buy like 3 bombs or something stupid. It's like, wow, that was some expensive bombery. But he had like all the best bombs. He was awesome. I don't think he's played the game in like almost a year, or like 6 months or 8 months or something. Of course, everybody who plays this game kind of does that. Like, they'll play for a long time, and then they'll take a break for a long time. Like, I usually play for maybe 3 months at a burst. I'll be like, oh man, Spiral Knight sounds really fun, and I'll get super into it and play for like really solidly for like maybe 2 or 3 months or something, and then I'll be like, and kind of take a break for a couple months. And I just play it when it sounds good. But I do really, really, truly enjoy this game, so I figured it would be good to put out some videos for it. Also, the user base isn't super huge, and so I don't know that there are many people that make videos for it, so I thought it would be nice, since it's a game I really enjoy and I've put a lot of time into and really understand, to make some videos just to round out what kind of information's available. So this section, these are shock traps, which are pretty hard sometimes to tell if they're on or not. Once you hit these 2 switches, they turn off. So once you hit those 2 switches, there's no more threat. And this is the first little fight arena. There's constantly rockets shooting at you from the left, so it's better to keep the switch set to purple. If you hit it to orange, it'll block like the side right here, which is not as useful. Better just to keep it on purple. These are called Quicksilver jellies. If you hit them with lightning, they will become electrified. Or if you hit them with shock damage, they become electrified. It also heals them, and they speed around the room and shock everything. Even other enemies still shock, but you definitely want to avoid using shock damage on them, so I can't use my Volt Edge charge attack like I usually do. They can also once in their life set themselves to electric automatically. They can just use it as an attack, but they can only do it once. Or if they go on top of shock traps, they'll shock themselves. Anytime shock damage is dealt to them, even if it's from the environment. You can tell they're about to start shocking themselves. Oops. See, I just hit him onto the trap. He got 34 health back. Normally when they attack, they'll be surrounded in yellow, which because they deal piercing damage. But if they like are standing off to the distance and they surround themselves in green, that means they're starting their elemental attack, which is shocking themselves. That's how you can watch for it. And if you see that, probably just run away. And it's pretty much random where they fly, so if they just zoom straight over to you and hit you, you can probably tack that up to bad luck. You maybe saw a few times when they went off, they kind of just like flew backwards towards the back of the room. Of course, what can happen here is they can like go out into the middle of the arena, shock themselves, fly all over the place, and then end up on one of the shock traps, and they get shocked again and start flying all over the place. And the game likes to spawn them in pretty big numbers, so it can get pretty chaotic. If a bunch of Quicksilvers are going crazy like that, and like I think a shocked one can bump a non-shocked one and get him shocked, they can kind of like chain reaction on each other. So if there's a bunch of them just like freaking out, it's kind of best just to like back up with your shield up into a corner and just dodge enemies and use knockback if you have it to keep yourself safe until the madness is stopped. Because if you get shocked, it's really hard to fight. You just like, every now and again, it'll just spasm, and you're basically stunned for like maybe a second or something, but you can't move and you can't shield and you can't attack, so basically for that second while you're surrounded, you're just going to get hit a bunch. Or if you are surrounded, like if you're in a big group of enemies, and then one of those Quicksilver shocks you, then you're just open to getting punished. So it can be pretty dastardly. So right now the power's off, and so we have to hit these 3 switches to turn the power back on, but when we do, Quicksilvers will appear. And so it's best to turn this gate purple so you're not getting shot by these rockets. Yeah, see a bunch of Quicksilvers and a bunch of shock traps. That one is still going crazy over there. He's still going crazy. My goodness. Okay, thank you. And again, if you don't have a gun, you just have to pick up this pot, throw it. Those rockets are not dodgeable unless you block them with your shield. They deal elemental damage, so if you have an elemental shield, you'll be fine. But the Barbarous Thorn Shield is a piercing shield, and I use it because it increases sword damage, so I can have maximum sword damage increase without using trinkets or anything. But it's a really bad shield. Even for piercing damage, it breaks very quickly. So as a shield, it's really not that good at all. A trick for this section is if you can get one person through here, if you press B, it will bring up a map of the entire area. And I am this little blue dot. Oh gosh, I am this little blue dot here on the map. And if you had other people with you, they'd appear as dots on the map. So if you can get one person over here, they can just hit this switch and turn the gates back and forth. And like your group of friends will be stuck in here, hit the switch, they'll move up to here, hit the switch, and you can see them move forward into the boxes. That's another quick way to, like, if you're really struggling with that part. Because if you don't have a gun, like I was able to run through with my gun, like shoot a switch, move forward, shoot the switch, move forward. But if you don't have a gun, you'd have to like stop, pick up a pot, throw it, and the whole time you're getting shot at by rockets and stuff. And if you're holding the pot and you get hit by the rockets, you'll drop it. And you have to wait for it to come back, and you can get shot by more rockets, and it can just get out of control. What are these things called? Surge bot. They always look like frogs to me. I always call them frog bots. Oh, they're pretty basic enemies. It's kind of easy to underestimate them and then like just get shot in the face by them a couple times. But for the most part, they're relatively harmless, especially if you're using charge attacks or if you're using guns. Then they're like, yeah, they might as well not even be there if you're using guns. So, once you're in this room, you can either shoot that switch or hit that switch. Yep, that was an accident. And pots are not effective, as you saw. My sword's dealing 176, and the pot did 10. So, not the best way to kill people. kind of surprised it brings in a bot there instead of having... Okay, Scuttlebot. It's called a... The base kind is called a Scuttlebot. So they kind of trick you here. You think you're supposed to go over here and shoot this switch, but then you're trapped in here with the rockets. What you actually have to do is go over here and hit this switch. And once you get to this room, then you hit the switch. Don't forget to check down here for treasure. And, let's see. So if we go this way... I'm not sure if I can make this happen. We'll just go this way. If you go this way, you can hit this switch from a distance, and it'll turn off. Like, if you just go this way, there's supposed to be rockets shooting down at you, but if you have, like, a shock vial or any kind of throwable, you can hit this button and it'll switch the rockets and it'll be safer. But I prefer just going up anyways. Now, this game's pretty laggy, historically. It's always been laggy. Unless you have, like, the best internet. I think this game has a, like, really big fan base in, like, Malaysia and stuff like that. Kind of Indonesian islands, I guess, or countries. There's a lot of people out there who play this game, but they have reliably awful internet service, at least for connecting to the game anyways, because I believe the servers are in California. So I don't know how they do it, because it's bad enough for me, and I'm in Oregon. And for them, I've been in, like, guilds with people, and they just say it's bad all the time. So I really don't know how they put up with it, but props to them for doing it. But if you see me, like, flying around the map or anything like that, it's most likely the game. That just kind of happens with this game. Not, like, it's not unbearable by any means, and it doesn't happen all the time, but it certainly does happen. Alright, for this section, top row shoots rockets, and then you have to get those rockets to hit these blocks the whole time you're getting attacked. And then eventually the rockets will make their way down and hit this little ghost block. And that will open access to the button. You can hit the button. Oh gosh. This part is where it gets tricky. You have to time it so that, like, after it passes over the first section, you hit the button. Bam, we're just gonna do that one more time. I just messed that up royally. If you're in a group, it's best to have one person dedicated to hitting the buttons, because you have two people hitting the buttons, they'll probably, like, mess with each other and wreck the timing, and then you can have the other people distract the enemies, is usually how things go. So it's best to find one person who's done it before, or if nobody's done it before, then just pick whichever guy, I don't know, draw numbers out of a hat. I have no idea. Just usually dedicate one guy at the start of the place, like at the beginning of the very dungeon, say, like, alright, I'm the button guy, and then you have to make sure to be responsible for hitting all the buttons. Okay, so that's the elevator down. If you look, there's huge laser beams, so you have to make sure, like, after you pass through, you have to hit that button again. Otherwise, you'll get beamed in your face. Also, these beams are super loud, so I apologize if this is messing with your ears. And you're just gonna enjoy it. You're just gonna keep enjoying it. Until it eventually cuts out abruptly. Alright, but this dungeon is also 2 areas, and then the boss. So we're again at the boss. And Spiral Knight's really, like, for example, the Snarvelax was invincible for long periods of time until you hit that bell, and then you could, like, deal a bunch of damage to him, and then he would become invincible again. This is the same type of thing. I don't really like that for boss fights. The Jelly King's a little bit like that. Well, I mean, he has a period of invincibility. It's not so much. But these guys are invincible. It's like a puzzle boss fight. I'll just show you as we go. So you hit the button, and they pop up. And then a whole bunch of boxes spawn in for whatever reason. Bam, now there's boxes everywhere. Alright, and they start shooting rockets at you. And they are invincible. Let's see if you can target him. Yeah, you can. Roarmulus Twin. So if I shoot him, it doesn't do anything. So what you have to do is use the switches to get the rockets to hit the other guy. Like, so this guy will shoot rockets at this guy, and then we hit him with the rockets. And then... Oops. If you time it right, if you time it just right, you can get all 3 rockets to pass, all 3 rows of rockets. Okay, so he got hit, so he's down. Alright, now I damaged him. We have to then... in the first stage, there's 3 stages. In the first stage, they just both stay in the middle. And then from there, they start moving back and forth. Stage 2 is the hardest because this one is moving and this one is not. So you have to just wait until he lines up rockets down the middle. Luckily, I did that perfectly. He still can block it, and he did not, which is very lucky. Stage 2 right there, that is the hardest one because sometimes I've had to wait like 3 minutes for this guy to finally shoot rockets down the middle again. Sometimes he'll just go back and forth from side to side, and you just sit here doing nothing. Okay, so for stage 2 and 3, which are effectively the same, one of the best techniques is just to try to get as many rockets as you can to fly across the map. Like right now, these rockets and these rockets are going, and if I hit the switch, now if he would have gone up, he would have got hit, and he came down, so he got hit. So if you can just get as many rockets as you can to be moving back and forth, then you're probably golden. Just make sure you don't accidentally flip the switch at the wrong time and get either you or your teammates shot by rockets. But anyways, since now that he's been hit, we have to hit this guy before we can move on to stage 3. I just messed up. I went to swing and I got hit by the scuttlebot. And I continue to mess up. Okay, yeah, super lasers. You just have to wait it out and just hide behind a shield. That was pretty much as unlucky as possible because the only shield I had to hide behind was the middle one, but this guy was also currently shooting the middle one with rockets, so I had to just stand there and take rockets to the face. Alright, see if we can't time this properly. We sort of did not. But I think he's still going to get hit. Yep. Alright, now stage 3. Stage 3 might be the easiest in my opinion. Okay, this guy's probably going to get hit by this set of rockets. No, he's not actually. Or he might. Potential. Potential for success. Oh, he shot off missiles into the air? Yeah, he's going to get hit. No, he's not. Gosh dang. These scuttlebots... Oh, that guy got hit. That was surprising. The scuttlebots are just annoying. They're shock scuttlebots. I was slow. I was too slow. So all they do is just run around and shock you, so that it prevents you from attacking and doing charge attacks. And then the Roarmulus Twins deal shock damage as well. Oh, he just got hit again? How? I did not even... I don't care. I think he's dead. Oh my gosh. Too slow. Okay. If they're doing the lasers like that, they can still be hit by rockets, so this is almost a guaranteed hit on this guy. Because the recovery time... Dang. The recovery time on the rockets, or the laser beam, is so long. He shot rockets up in the air, and he moved out of the way. Crap, that was perfectly wrong. I just moved into some rockets, which is nice. Oh my gosh, this is taking much longer than normal. Generally, with the Divine Avenger, if you can get them knocked down once and then hit them with the charge attack, then they'll be dead. And so stage 3 is, in my opinion, the easiest because it's easy to, like, since they're both firing so many rockets and moving back and forth so much, it's easy to get them hit by rockets, which is the hardest part of the fight. Dang it. But if I keep messing with the charge attacks like I have been, there we go. So that one's just, again, for this room, it's very, very important to have somebody dedicated to be the switch person and to rotate the walls, because if you have a couple people fighting over the timing for when to raise and lower the walls, pretty much all the rockets are just going to hit the walls and not hit the boss. I don't particularly like that boss fight, I'll be honest. It's just, I don't know. I guess it's different in the sense that it's more of a puzzle than just like straight combat. But the thing is, I really like the combat in this game for an MMO. Like, I played a lot of RuneScape, and that's just click on the thing and then hope you don't die. Whereas this is like actual live action with a lot of shielding and like dodging and stuff. So I think it has a pretty high skill cap, which I really enjoy for the combat. But then that's more of a puzzle boss. And then the Snarlax also being a puzzle boss kind of just feels like too many puzzle bosses when they have some of the most fun combat, in my opinion. But, I mean, it's their game and they can do it how they want, and it does keep it different and interesting. So, I don't know. Take it how you want. I'm personally not a giant fan. But that is the Roarmulus Twins. Thank you guys for watching. And I guess next time we come back we'll be doing Vanaduke. So I'll look forward to that.